Talking about kegs and eggs, fertility and oocytes. Talking candid while having a drink or two. You'll hear real talk from a real genetic counselor who's miscarried multiple times before. It's time for Katie Lee CGC.
Hey guys, Katie Lee CGC here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, why am I talking quiet? I don't know, because I'm nervous. Just took one of these. If you haven't seen one before, this is a Walmart pregnancy test. You can get these for 88 cents. Great deal. You can also buy like loads of strips online, but I am not a tester. I'm not somebody who like wants to test. Some people like to follow the line progression and like see how their line darkens. That's not me. I actually want to avoid testing. And I've been thinking back and forth in my mind and talking to my husband. Do I want to share what it's actually like to ride the wave of a pregnancy after recurrent pregnancy loss real time? And I think I'm going to. I was expecting my period like a week and a half ago. It didn't come. I also think I just kind of know what it feels like to be pregnant now. So I finally took a pregnancy test. Definitely crystal clear positive. How do I feel? I kind of feel nothing. Like after recurrent pregnancy loss, after 5 miscarriages, you feel dread taking another pregnancy test. You feel disappointment when the test is positive and disappointment when the test is negative, because there's no way not to be fearing and anxious about the miscarriage and all of the follow-up. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, even if I make it to 5 weeks or 6 weeks or 7 weeks or 8 weeks, I could still have a miscarriage at 12 weeks. I could have a stillbirth at 25 weeks. I could have a baby who dies from SIDS. Like, it makes me think of all of those things so much more. And I was never that way with my son. Like, I imagine when I had my sonny like 5 years ago, I must have had some of those fears that those things could happen, but they weren't overwhelming by any means. And now it's just top of the mind all the time. Like, I could start bleeding at any moment. So much so that I waited like these 10 days to even take a pregnancy test, because I just want to pretend I'm not pregnant, even though I felt like I was, so that if I started bleeding, I could be like, oh, my period's just 10 days late. Never happened before, but well, here we go. The other reason I chose not to test early or right away is because I'm not going to be doing any of the things I did the last couple of pregnancies. The last couple of pregnancies, I took progesterone supplementation, even though my progesterone wasn't low, just as something to do. And I also went in for all of the monitoring and blood work. So like I had my HCG measured every 3 days. I went in for a 5-week ultrasound. I went in again for a 7-week ultrasound. And it's too much, because even if the HCG levels are doubling every 3 days or so, as they should, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean there's going to be a perfectly growing fetus by any means. I mean, yeah, it's a good sign, but definitely doesn't always mean anything. You can still miscarry at any time. So I decided this time around, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing acupuncture, which I've done like the last 3 pregnancies. I'm not going to do all the monitoring. I'm just going to lay low and try to hope for the best. If you haven't seen one before, this is a pregnancy wheel. Most people just use apps these days, but I just find this so fun. I enjoy using the wheel. I already had it out because I already pretty much knew I was pregnant, but just for the sake of it. So my period was the 2nd of January. So line up January 2nd, looks like that. So you line it up. Here we go. The first day of my last menstrual period was December 6th. That's my miss period. And that means the due date for this pregnancy would be September 12th. I don't know. I always like to find out the due date just because it's the only thing you can find out right now. So there's that. Wish me luck. Of course, I wish I could feel the excitement that I got to feel when I took my pregnancy test, when I became pregnant with my sonny. But it's just not there. I'm never going to feel that again after all of the trauma and all of the miscarriages. So it's just an anxious time, and all we can do is hang on for the ride and see what happens. It's hard to believe this is my 7th pregnancy. Sunny was my first, followed by these 5, well, 4 miscarriages, 1 biochemical. So I just grouped them together as 5. And now this is my 7th pregnancy. Like, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I'd be somebody who's had 7 pregnancies. But here we are.